Hello, brilliant and embodied souls. My name is Kim. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. We've got another tag. It's been tagalicious lately. There's been so many fun tags floating around, and I've very much been in a play with my decks kind of mood. This has been a week, folks. It's been a week. I have been dealing with some health issues, just not feeling all that well, colds, and whatnot. I'm feeling so much better, but it was just a week. And then on top of that, I had to deal with some technical issues within my business. Don't you love it when technology goes to shit? So that was part of my week. To end this shit show, I wanted to have some fun. I just wanted to take a step back, look at the decks that I'm currently loving. So I felt called to join in Amethyst Ascension's tag top 11 current favorite decks. What a great tag to just check in, just share some of what we're all loving, what we've got on our reading desks, what's really appealing to us at this point in time. It can change, it can morph. It's a jolly good time. It's just a jolly good time. Let's talk decks. I'm going to get the most obvious out of the way. If you've seen any number of my videos, you know my absolute love of the Circle of Doors Tarot. She is my all-time favorite deck. She's my ride or die. This deck has beautiful layered photography, making this deck look different to me every single time I pull her out, and I pull her out daily. This deck gets so much love from me. We are two peas in a pod. The layered photography is in and of itself a divinatory tool. I draw a card for the day and see new and different things in the cards. Some days my eye is drawn to, say, the little girl in this beautiful Six of Cups. Other days my eye goes to her beads or the cups themselves or the keyword. The keywords of this deck are just so spot on. If I were to give keywords to the tarot, it would be these keywords, with actually one exception, the Six of Cups, innocence. I swear, the only keyword in this entire deck that isn't quite right for me. That said, I can absolutely work with innocence and what that suggests for the Six of Cups. This deck is beautiful. It is insightful. It meets me exactly where I need to be met. For example, if I need straight up answers, clear, concise answers, it will be clear and concise. If I need to wonder and explore, it will help me wonder and explore. If I need to deep dive into highly charged topics, it will go there with me. It's such a multifaceted deck. It's so multifaceted. Sorry about that. My speaker just made a bizarre sound. Let me turn it off. Okay. Back to the decks. I love the people in this deck. They could be my friends. It's all women or more femme-oriented folks. The courts are so well named, right? Crone of Shells, Crone of Cups is equivalent to the king. There's a real representation of life phase, a modern life phase, or I guess it wouldn't be modern, but just the human life phase is represented so beautifully in this deck. And then there's the guidebook. Oh, it's so succinct. It's so beautiful. There's poetry. There are amazing journaling questions and reflection questions. It's small, but it is mighty. The guidebook, just like the deck, shows me new and different messages every time. I've read the guidebook, I can't even tell you how many times. And each time I pull it out, it feels like something new is revealed. But there's not tons of information. I mean, like, look at that, right? That's not a huge amount of information. But man, is that information gold. It's gold. I could go on and on about this deck. It's my all-time favorite. It truly is. It's my all-time favorite. I would love if there was a pocket-size edition because it is kind of large. That would be so cool. And honestly, I need to get a backup copy. I am using the bejesus out of that deck and I need a backup. Okay, let's go to another ride or die deck for me, and that's the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck by Kim Krans. I've currently got this deck in a little bit of an order, so there are suits within this deck, I guess you could say. The archetypes are divided up into, I believe, how many categories? 4? 5? Here we go. Cells. Yeah, we've got 4. Right? Yeah. Can I count? 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah. Gosh. Wow. It's been a week. I've got it divided up because I have a current archetypes reading offering going on that a couple of people have reached out to me about, and this is a deck that I use among other decks for that particular offering. If you want to check it out, link in the description below. The idea with that particular offering is looking at the archetypal journey. So this deck has the selves or archetypes that are personified, if you will, like the, here we go, the shaman, the mystic, the comic. So that's the first group. Then we've got the rites of passage, gnosis, all that good stuff. I mean, everybody's seen this deck, right? But specifically, this is a favorite right now because I've divided the deck up into its categories, and I've been using the spread that comes with this deck as part of these archetypal readings. It's been very powerful for folks. It really helps people understand what is the archetypal energy that I'm currently working with. How can I work with it? What are my assets? What are the tools that are available to me? How do I overcome obstacles? It's been a really good time working with this deck in that particular kind of way. I'm crushing real hard. And this deck is honestly like one of my all-time favorite decks. Truly, it's really versatile. It's beautiful. It goes with a lot of other decks. I'm a fan. Let's stay on the Oracle train and talk briefly about This weirdo. The Indigo Goddess deck by Midnight Oracle. I got this on Etsy, and AI may have been used in the creation of this deck. I'm actually really not sure. The excuse me, the deck's name doesn't really indicate what the theme is. This is a business-oriented deck. Let's check out some of the cards. For example, protection, save your money, guardian, investor, broker, insurance, retirement. The messages are related to our finances, related to career. It is the perfect deck for somebody who runs a small business like myself. It is such a great deck for somebody who is interested in working on their career, working on how they share themselves out in the world. I could really take or leave the images with this deck. I really love the blue. The color palette is so up my alley. This lapis blue is gorgeous. The golds are gorgeous. However, the images themselves can be kind of cheesy. But that's okay. I mean, is it my favorite artwork? Absolutely not. It's really the theme of the deck. The keywords are so on point. When I have questions about what to do in my small business, when people come to me with questions about their business, this oracle loves to come out. It's been really fun to work with it. The messages are often very clear, very on point. This deck doesn't mess around. It's honest. It's really honest. If it's like, girl, you got to do some networking. It just says it. And there's literally like a networking card, you know, right? If you've got to leave your job and the lone wolf card comes up, you know what you need to do here. The keywords are just so directive and clear. Having oracle decks like this in our collection can be a real asset. There's no wondering, there's no faffing about like, what could this mean? If you ask this oracle the right question, it will give you exactly the answer you need. Look at this funny cat. It makes me laugh. Maybe that's the other thing I like about this oracle is it's addressing a serious topic, right? How do we bring our offerings out into the world? How do we support ourselves financially? How do we achieve material success? Those are all serious, heavy topics, and yet this deck is kind of funny and weird. It works for me. It's working. It came with some extra little cards, and in this organza bag. I think I kind of get the sense that it's like kind of it was printed with make playing cards. The cardstock feels like that kind of cardstock. Okay. Next, let's switch it up and talk tarot. The Deleted World Tarot. I did a review of this deck a couple of weeks back. I've decided it's my steampunk deck. I love steampunk aesthetic. However, all the steampunk decks out on the market are not for me in terms of the art style. They just feel too cartoonish to me, not quite in alignment with how I see the energy and themes of steampunk. That said, this deck has that feeling to it. It's more than just my steampunk deck, though, because the Deleted World, which is the realm this deck taps into, is a technological alternative reality. It explores things like augmented reality, virtual reality, cloud computing. It thinks about artificial intelligence. It questions the role of technology in our lives. Is technology helping us, hindering us? How does technology change our psyches and our relationships? This deck taps into all of those themes and more. It feels like I've walked into this whole dimension and an alternative reality where I see things that remind me of my reality. However, everything's a little topsy-turvy. Everything's a little off. Things have been deleted, pixelated, reconfigured, reprogrammed. I recognize things and yet I don't. That's true of a lot of the namings within this deck, the art within this deck. Because of all of that, like, off-kilteredness, I receive very unique and poignant messages from this deck about all the themes I mentioned earlier. But beyond that, this deck is not, I don't use this deck just to answer philosophical questions, such as the ones I posed before. I also use this deck to understand the future, where we're headed. And there's also many homages to the past. The imagery and the artwork is very suggestive of the Victorian era, what's the word? Turn of the century industrial revolution. It just speaks to so many of these modern themes and concerns, and yet they're not modern, right? They have been going on since at least the Industrial Revolution, right? Anyway, I'm loving this deck. I also love the keywords. Again, spot on keywords. I generally don't read with reversals, but I do use reversals in this deck because the reversed meanings are so on point. Again, the readings are so unique, but accurate. The accuracy of this deck is kind of spooky, honestly. It kind of creeps me out sometimes. And for that reason, it's a current crush, a current favorite. I wasn't sure if I was going to get along with this deck, but the more I use it, the more I'm like, oh, you are cheeky. You are so, very intelligent, a deep philosopher, a deep thinker. I have a crush. I'm into it. A foil to the Deleted World is the Goddess of Love Tarot. I used this deck in February almost every day. I'm not even kidding. It just had a moment with me. If the Deleted World Tarot is my intellectual friend who I talk philosophy with, the Goddess of Love Tarot is my sex positive friend who supports me in questions about relationships, questions of emotion, questions of my relationship to my body, my relationship to my sexuality. This deck helps me with very different concerns as compared to the Deleted World. This deck wants me to be here now in the muck, but in the delight, in the deliciousness that love and relationships and sexuality have to offer us. I did do the edgings in red. I'm very pleased with how it turned out. She's also incredibly accurate. I really enjoyed the guidebook. Gabby Hersick, who is the author of the guidebook, does a great job of talking about the dark goddesses represented, or the divine, sensual, sexual goddesses of the major arcana. We're getting all pips. I do really like the pips with personalities. They read really well for me. There's a certain amount of neutrality within the minors that is helpful. Although, you know, that's not especially neutral, is it? Anyway, I'm more and more into pips with personality as opposed to all out scenic minors these days. The pips give me a lot more room, which I enjoy. Anyway, back to Gabby Herstick's guidebook. There's a lot of great information in here. You get a ritual, you have an affirmation, journal questions. She has seen the goddesses in the major arcana through the lens of sensuality, sexuality, relationships. The minors are also seen through that lens. However, the minors are described in unique but powerful ways within the guidebook. I love me a good guidebook. I do. I'm a writer. I'm a word person as much as I am a visual person and an art person. When a creator has taken the time to really think about the cards and offer their unique lens vis-a-vis a solid guidebook, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And Gabby Herstick blew it out of the park with this guidebook. I wasn't sure the collage work in this particular deck was for me. You know, all the roses, the reds and pinks. I've totally come around to the artwork within this deck. It feels raw and yet sensual at the same time. I love the contrast of the green and the red. She's naughty and playful and fun, hard-hitting, fierce, empowering. Yep, she's a crush. She's a current favorite. I just have to put these decks away, otherwise I will have such a mess on my hand. Let's keep this party going with another oracle deck. And here I have the Desert Rites Oracle. This deck has been helping me with some purpose questions. The theme of this deck is very much you're a seeker in the desert, the internal desert, of course. You're on this journey through the progression of the cards. This journey has pitfalls, struggle. It also has reward. insights. You plateau, you go into deep, difficult valleys, you climb mountains, you see vistas, you tread water, you sweat, all in service of spiritual and psychological development. I love how this deck speaks about the journey of our souls, the journey of our lives, how we can turn struggle and strife into deep satisfaction, whether that be spiritual satisfaction or material satisfaction or relationship satisfaction. This deck is here to be your guide and help you along the way. This deck has been telling me as of late to take a retreat, go inward, practice my self-care, lean into my meditation. It's been a very helpful voice. It's a gentle voice. It's a supportive voice. It's a profound voice. Oh my gosh, just look at this card, the Return. Oof. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. The author of the guidebook wrote the Outlaw Oracle. So you get these really well-written messages. The only thing I don't jive with is the word seeker and you are italicized over and over and over again, which bugs me. But I can live with that. I can live with that because the messages of this deck are gentle, profound, and incredibly helpful. Next up, let's talk about the Enchanted Tarot, aka the Zerner, whoa, can't even fit that in, the Zerner Barber Tarot. So a word about this deck. There are a couple of editions out there that you can currently get. I wanted the Zerner Barber Tarot because of the size. This is so cute, so sweet. All the pinks, all the purples are my jam right now. I got this deck because it reminds me of my grandma. My grandma was into quilting, embroidery. We would sew together and create fabric masterpieces together. We have fabric collage. We also have Victorian-esque illustrations. It just reminds me of Valentine's my grandma would show me that she received as a child. I wanted a deck that would help me connect with her. I don't have a deck, any other deck really like this in my collection. I have many other collage decks. This deck has a very sweet, nostalgic feeling to it. Generally, I don't go for nostalgia. But I realized this March that I needed some of that. I wanted some of that. The Zerner Barber Tarot stood out to me as a deck that could really help me, again, connect with my grandma, but more than just that. The messages are sweet and digestible. and yet it still gives me the truth. It lets me know what I need to know, but does so in a mindful, therapeutic way. Because there are a couple of different editions out there, I made the accident of buying the Enchanted Tarot, the 25th anniversary edition, which is, the cards are gigantic. I haven't taken them out of their plastic because I'm like, do I keep this? Like, this is insane. But what I realized is that the guidebook for the Enchanted Tarot is more my style than the guidebook that comes with the Zerner Barber edition. This edition has a description of the card, an awakening, an enchantment, which is essentially a ritual to connect with the essence of the card. Then we have a message and outcome. These write-ups are less predictive, more... This guidebook is not a psychological guidebook. It is a divinatory guidebook. However, I like the enchantment. I like the descriptions of what's happening in the cards, and then the awakening messages feel a little bit more robust as opposed to what's in the Zerner Barber guidebook. I don't know what to do here, folks. If you have thoughts, drop me a comment. You know, do I keep both editions? Do I forgo the guidebook that I like better? I'm not sure what to do. Your thoughts are welcome below. Next, let's talk about the Telos Tarot. This is by M.M. Moline, who I have a great deal of respect for. Oh gosh, this deck. It's a favorite because I've got a secret project going on with this deck. I will update all of you later about said project. I'm brewing some magic. That magic needs to percolate. It needs to operate in secrecy for now. But I wanted to say what it is that I'm working with and what I'm loving, and the Telos Tarot is what I'm loving right now. It's incredibly esoteric. I believe the minors correspond with images found in the Picatrix. The minor, or the majors, are very thothish in styling. We've got the Golden Dawn, astrological associations, and color correspondences. It's an M.M. Moline deck. Could you expect anything else? The real gold of this deck, though, does have to do with the astrological associations. M.M. Moline created each card during the decan or season represented in that card. So, you know, Prince of Cups, she created this drawing during that decan. So cool. The concept of this deck is just so magically charged. When I work with this deck, I can feel its magic. It feels like I'm stepping into a mystical, lost library of information. I open I play with the cards. It's like opening up a long lost text and discovering the secrets of the universe within that text. It's really sparking my imagination. Oh my God, look at that Ace of Cups. Whew. It's a really unique deck. I love the guidebook. I mean, check out the descriptions here. Five of Cups, disappointment. Could not agree more with that keyword. A man with a lance in his right hand and his left a human head. Ooh, deities. We've got a list of deities. Disenchantment with something one expected to find pleasure in. Ooh, we feel let down or deceived. Ouch. We have lost something and are waiting and are left wanting more. You may have had to settle for less than desired. Too much Mars here leads to emotional dryness and a disconnect with the feminine principle. And this is my favorite part, this last paragraph of each of the cards. Used by the brave for confronting issues of relentless desires and hungers. Ooh, depending on how you use it, it could bind and stifle desire or grant the fulfillment of your thirst, but with a price to pay and perhaps undesired consequences. See, this deck is talismanic. You can use this deck to create magic. Chills. I've got chills. It is a current favorite. Ooh, yes, 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 yes. Next, I would like to talk about the Abaton keys. We've got another oracle going on here. Collage. This deck was really helping me with some of my health issues this week. I was not feeling well. This deck is for anyone who has current or chronic health concerns. The Abaton keys are named after healing temples dedicated to Asclepius in ancient Greece. Asclepius is the god of healing. He has many daughters who represent various aspects of the healing journey. Abatons were these very remote healing centers and again, temples that people would go to receive dreams about their healing. They would either be healed directly vis-a-vis the dream, or they would receive instructions for how to heal themselves, or work with the priests and priestesses or attendants of the temples to gain access to healing. This deck is all about that healing journey. It looks at the healing journey through the various suits. So wisdom, this is healing our thought patterns vis-a-vis ancient Greek philosophers. We've got rituals, so those are the actions that we can take. We've got medicine, so again, we've got perhaps specific activities or things that you can engage with. Drama, right? This points to where maybe some of our illnesses are coming from. It's a really insightful and profound deck. It has been helping me move through illness. It's a great psychological and physical illness companion. I love the artwork. It's very beautiful. The guidebook is everything. Again, it talks about how the card relates to the ancient world. Then it gives you a succinct message. I've learned a lot from working with the guidebook. Again, fantastic guidebook. You can maybe see a theme here in some of my favorites. I'm all about a good guidebook. I did reback the deck, so if you get it, it does not come with these backs. The backs look like this like what? No. I just had to augment. Okay, we've got 2 more decks. Oh my gosh. Dirt Gems. I adore this deck. It's now available mass market. I have the indie edition. What can I say, folks? It's springtime. I want to explore plant spirits. Where I live, there are a lot of flowers happening right now. I've gained a lot more interest in flower essences and working with the energy and spirit of plants. So I'm actually in the process of making some of my own flower essences. This deck meets me in my love of plants, my love of working with plant spirits. It's honestly a new thing for me. It's really only been a part of my practice for about the last year. So I am in no shape or form an herbalist or anybody who knows very much about plant medicine or plant spirits. I'm a total noob, but I love this deck. Its artwork is very folksy. It feels homegrown in the best possible way. The messages are incredibly therapeutic. The author of the guidebook is clearly trauma informed. They are a healer. This deck has healing energy and wisdom, which it loves to impart to me. It's a current favorite. And has been for quite a while. It goes with so many decks. There's something about the colors with the black background that just make this deck come alive and brings out other decks alive around it too. Okay, we're here at the end. The Maria Tarot. My last favorite. We've got a Thoth clone. I've seen other Thoth clones, but they never spoke to me. Lady Frida Harris's artwork is par excellence. I love her artwork. So I never felt called to any of the clones because I'm like, I'll just use my Thoth. Like, I'll just work with Lady Frida Harris's artwork. Until this deck came along. It feels so vibrant. It is an amazing homage to Lady Frida Harris. I actually feel more connected to her artwork after working with this deck. We've got more diversity represented here, which is so nice. Like, check out this Emperor. Thank you. Thank you so much. The miners just sing with the Golden Dawn color scales. Oh, yeah. And then the people feel modern, but they still feel cosmic. The magic of the Thoth is still very much here, but we've got diversity. We've got different kinds of people, plus this vibrancy. This is such a spring deck, a summer deck. I mean, I work with it. I would work with it year round, honestly. But the word that just keeps flashing into my mind with this deck is vibrant. It's so vibrant. It's energetic. It's enthusiastic. It's like, go girl, you gotta go. Do the things. Get up, make stuff happen. And I need some of that energy coming out of winter right now. I feel it's encouragement. I need its encouragement to make things happen. Okay, that does it. Those are my current 11 favorite decks. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a phenomenal rest of your day. Till the next video, take care.